Good afternoon to you all on the second day of our level 4 lockdown in South Africa. My name is Mark Long, rector of the parish of St Andrews, Newlands in Cape Town. Today's Eucharistic readings include another reading from John chapter 6. We've been with this chapter for 5 days now. And in today's reading, we discover that many of the disciples have struggled with Jesus' teaching and they've wandered off. They just cannot handle all that he is saying, and it's just become too much. Jesus turns to the 12 and he says, would you too like to leave? And it's interesting that it's Peter who affirms that they believe. And the other Gospels, of course, it's in the context of Jesus asking the question, who do others say that I am? And of course, who do you say that I am? In John, it's in the context of people struggling to believe Jesus, to believe all that he is saying about God and God's purposes, and particularly in referring to himself as the bread of life, the source of life. Peter's response is, we believe that you are the Holy One of God. We believe that, we're staying. Now, my thought for the day, it was, I guess, more of a revelation, was that in nearly 55 years of life, I've never not believed. And that quite took me by surprise. Looking back as a child, I guess I believed because I had family that believed, my grandmother, my parents, just the context of school and everything else, people around me believed, and I believed with them. I was aware at about the age of 16 of really recognizing God really did exist, really God was there for me. And kind of personally taking on the faith and my belief. There have, of course, over the years been many times of doubt. I can remember one or two times of real questioning, questioning my faith, questioning what God was up to. But in all of that, I've never not believed. And it struck me that in terms of where we find ourselves at the moment, what do we believe? What is it that keeps us connected to God and our faith and even the church? What is it in the context of the coronavirus and the lockdown that we're under that may keep us believing in what government is doing? I've got a lot of friends who question a lot of what God's up to. And I'm aware myself that I live in I live between two polarities. One, that I'm deeply suspicious of everything and everyone. And on the other extreme, I'm relatively naive about just accepting what's happening. But aware that over 55 years or so of a faith journey, that the faith that I hold, my belief that Jesus is the Holy One of God, that God is interested, involved, participating in our world and our lives, I know that that's not naive. I've doubted sufficiently to work through a lot of that. In terms of where we are in our lockdown, there's so much out there. Who do we believe? Why do we believe? And I recognize that perhaps on one level, I do quite naively just accept that our president and our government is doing the best that they can for us at this time. But maybe that is naive. And maybe I need to question some of that a little bit more deeply. Although I trust that there are others that I know of who are doing that questioning. And between my faith in God and my trust, perhaps often too naively, of government institutions, there is something just about the importance of being optimistic. And it's something that holds me and drives me and is built, I think, on my experience of God and God's love and all that I've discovered about God and God's involvement in our world over the years. So my question to you is, where are you in all of this? What are you believing, both in terms of faith and in terms of life?